Associative property is a really important concept for our young learners to learn or understand, but it sounds really difficult and complicated. It isn't at all, but it's just a long name that confuses people at times. And that's why it's important to teach our students to get past kind of the fear of the unknown or the fear of something that's intimidating, because once they understand it and they know what the term stands for, it's really not scary at all. Listed below is the definition for associative property from the Ontario Curriculum of Math, and it states a property of addition and multiplication that allows the numbers being added or multiplied to be regrouped without changing the outcome of the operation. For example, 7 plus 9 plus 1 is the same thing as 7 plus 9 and 1, meaning in addition you can add the numbers that, for example, as we looked at in an earlier video, make 10 first, such as 9 and 1, and add the 7 after, instead of trying to add the 7 and the 9 and adding the 1 after. The same principle also works with multiplication. So you could do 7 times 4 and then multiply it by 5, or you could do 7 multiplied by 4 and 5, which again is an easier concept because more students would be comfortable with knowing that 4 times 5 is 20 and then multiplying 20 by 7 for their mental math strategy. This associative property does not generally hold for subtraction and division. So it's also important for students to understand that they can't move numbers around the same when they're subtracting or dividing as they can when they're multiplying or adding. If we look at the sample questions from the definition on the previous slide, we can realize that it's simple addition or simple multiplication, but it can be very intimidating for a student, which is why we need to work with them and help them understand that they're in charge of the math and they can decide how to answer the question because there's lots of different correct ways to get to them. So again, associative property is understanding that 7 plus 1 plus 9 is the same thing as understanding 1 plus 9 plus 7 equals the same thing as doing 9 plus 1 plus 7, or organizing it any way they want. And the same is also true for multiplication, where students could do 9 times 1 times 7, or they could do 1 times 7 times 9. It's understanding that they're in control. So when they're faced with a computation problem, especially that requires mental math with addition or subtraction, it's important that they solve the problem in a way that they're comfortable doing. Many adults do it without necessarily realizing it because it's a strategy they've learned.